What is this madness?
I think us being in a coma causes us to be lucid dreaming.
Ah, the thing where you live in your own mind and everything is possible and you can do the most wonderful things you can imagine without limitations.
Yeah.
Neat, so let's talk some more about Sonic.
Sure.
Sonic Boom is out! Isn't it fantastic?
I don't want to talk about it.
I love the TV show. It's like a sitcom. The acting is much less wooden and everyone sounds like they're having a blast.
Of course, it's voice-acted theater.
And I like how Styx is the conspiracy theorist. She's crazy.
Yep. In the episode where Eggman suddenly decides Sonic's house is the best place to go sleep after his base explodes, Sonic's immediately okay with that and Amy's worried about Eggman's feelings, the fact that Styx is the only one who thinks it might be a trap clearly makes her the crazy and weird one.
But yeah, great show. I bet the kids will love it.
It's definitely the best comedy Sonic has had in a long time. As here the writers at least remember it's a visual medium and have more visual jokes. Though I wouldn't call it smart humor as Mike Pollock put it for some reason. You have to turn your brain off to enjoy this, otherwise you get distracted by, wait, if there's a magazine about evil airs, how many other evil villains are there, and why don't they bother Sonic? When Eggman says he fires people by disabling them, and then we cut to Cubot laying disassembled, does that mean he's fired? Why, how, what? What the hell is Amy? Then she's worried about Eggman's feelings, then she's cheering on an entire village being destroyed by comets, then she's suddenly a super intelligent action archaeologist adventurer, then she's a well-known design decorator. What is she? Not only the story reboots every episode, but her brain does too. And man, the characters are so often out of character, I don't even know what in character is anymore. The episodes can start with Sonic trying to destroy the world and Amy being a famous journalist, and I wouldn't even bet an eye and know if it's a deliberate joke or just another example of Sonic Boom having no established foundation for what the hell everyone is supposed to be. Sonic Boom loves to put Sonic and friends in out-of-character situations. But to me, that's only funny when the characters are really defined. Like, for example, if you have a joke like Batman is babysitting, you want Batman to be his most Batmaniest. How dare you cry over spilled milk? When I was your age, my parents died and I didn't cry. Roar! Now, if Batman is already mildly weird, wacky, funny person, even before being stuck with a baby, then the contrasting humor will lack any punch. So yeah, when we have Sonic helping out Eggman with a world destruction machine, it's amusing, but not really funny because Sonic isn't a real hero here. He's bored, tired grandpa. And Eggman is not a real villain, he's just childish, wacky neighbor person. So watching them work together doesn't have the comedic punch it could have had. It only works on the general random cartoon stuff happens level. But turn your brain off and just go with the flow and the energy, and it's an amusing show. It's basically as if you're at a convention and Mike Pollock and Roger Greg Smith dress up like their characters and do a weird sketch show on stage. On that level, it kind of works, if you just want to see the voice actors have a good time and be silly and talk in accents. But I hardly consider Sonic Boom to be an actual alternative series like CTM or Archie or Sonic Underground. It's very much a parasite series. You have to get your emotional connection to the character from other medium, because Boom does nothing to welcome the audience into its universe. Just get in there, laugh at the energy and cartoonness, and then get out. Oh well. My one real issue is that, okay, Knuckles is now the dumb muscle, fine, but can you at least remember he's still a muscle? As in, let him do something awesome every now and then. Look, I'm just as guilty in making Knuckles a dumb macho guy, but I let him run into tornadoes and beat the snot out of everyone and even punch me through the fourth wall. While Sonic Boom Knuckles, had to be saved by British accent beaver from Eggman's mail sorting machine.
And I bet you enjoy the story of Sonic Boom on the Wii U. It fixes a lot of things that bothered you. Amy, Knuckles and Tails are useful, Eggman much less a buffoon, and Lyric is a straight villain too. And the writers actually remember their own story. Things have a much more logical structure and flow to it. No longer the random scenes from Lost World that only work on their own, their story is really tied into the game. There's a form of society, actual citizens that look like Sonic-type characters. It fixes so many of our problems.
Outside of Shadow being spectacularly off, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Ah, well, the 3DS game, Shattered Crystals, is much better.
Oh yeah, that's amazing! Pontic and Graf really outdone themselves. This is the most them ever.
Favorite scene?
Ah, too many. Okay, so imagine. Sonic and friends are stuck in a plane that they lost control over, and they're about to crash into the fortress of the evil Lyric, who's on the verge of engaging his evil plan.
Oh, cool.
So, of course, it's set up like a damn sitcom scene. Static camera shot, no music, no energy, no emotions, just everyone politely trading punchlines to each other in polite order. Or hey, the story is about a gang saving Amy, right? Spoiler alert, I'm gonna tell you how exciting her rescue is. Check this out. So Amy and Lyric are talking and making puns. I'm gonna kick your butt. Snakes don't have butts. I will kick your tail. So man, I'm pumped up now. So you get another labyrinth stage with soothing music in this calm-looking place. The calm before the storm, right? So then after you beat the stage, well, there's Amy. And then they start talking about getting lunch, and Knuckles wants burritos.
Well, what an action-packed climax to an exciting story.
You know what? At this point I was hoping the game would literally end here. Hey, let's not have them snap back and still have their final stage and boss. Let's just interrupt the whole thing and everyone just shrugs and aborts the adventure and goes eat their lunch. Have end credits while the gang eats tacos while Lyric still fiddles around with his world destruction devices. Or hell, he goes to eat some tacos himself and spills sauce on the control, saving the day. Huh. Pontic and Graf, they still write the characters as if it's them walking around in Sonic costumes on the set, making jokes about grammar, which tells us that Pontic and Graf are really into the technicalities of language, which, as we're familiar with their many products of writing, goes without saying, and tells us they're indeed professional writers. And then Tills makes a pun about Shadow being from the shadows and says, "That's irony, folks." That's not irony! Puns are not irony. Irony is when something with a clear purpose accidentally causes the opposite, like an ambulance hitting a pedestrian or a fireman burning a house down. Which tells us Pontic and Graf don't understand terminology and the inner workings of humor, and as we're familiar with their many products of the writing, again, goes without saying, and reminds us that they're indeed incapable of understanding comedy.
Though I have to say, they did get Shadow correctly at least, especially compared to the Wii U version. The things he said, I can imagine the actual Shadow saying, and he doesn't say any jokes either.
True. Apparently a lot of concerned Sonic fans have sent Mr. Pontic some cutscenes with Shadow in them to make sure Pontic understands the character, and apparently he did his homework and paid attention. So yeah, there's a compliment. Shadow's written okay. So well done writers, and well done concerned fans who got through to him. Now if only someone can mail him again to remind him that Sonic is a comedy adventure, that would be nice. I said it before, I don't mind characters being a smartass, only when it's balanced between other personality types. When everyone is being a smartass all the time, in every situation, it just becomes a drag. They want to be like Quentin Tarantino movies, except they're forgetting the fact humor in those movies work because it's done by intense characters in between scenes of extreme violence, like a nervous kind of humor. Murderers talking about McDonald's, hope no one snaps and starts killing. Of course, Sonic games lack that intensity.
Yeah, so unless the next Sonic game will have Tails accidentally blowing someone's head off with a gun, or Eggman emotionally manipulating Big the Cat in surrendering a family to be executed by Nazis, keep that witty dialogue to a minimum and have some fun with the premise. Actually, I don't mind the writing that much, but I do wonder, now Sonic Boom, the TV show and the game have different writers and much better humour, how many people would still defend Pontic and Graf's writing? They're not the only source of Sonic lightheartedness anymore. Now we actually have My Little Pony writers giving us more toddler-friendly Sonic.
Who knows? I definitely prefer the show in the Wii U game story over anything Pontic and Graf. They occasionally remember animation and video games are a visual medium and have visual jokes. Yay! Anyway, I received some complaints, again, that I only talk about story and such and not about gameplay. But, so fine, Sonic Boom gameplay. Again, I consider good Sonic games to be an experience, so music, story, and context are equally, if not more important to me than gameplay. There's only one Sonic game where the gameplay is so awesome that I forgive it for having a dull, lifeless experience in that generations. But for the most games, gameplay is something to keep me busy while I'm soaking up the experience, and yes, that includes the 16-bit and even the 8-bit games. That's it, gameplay. Elephant in the room, glitches, I don't care. The only people freaking out over glitches are people who don't regularly play Sonic games to begin with, so whatever. Sonic and glitches is like TV shows and commercials. It sucks, but whatever, let the show entertain me and I'll sit through your dumb little commercials. Actually, I'm happy the game has glitches. I can shove that in the face of fools dismissing the lack of spectacle because it's the gameplay that counts. Hey, look, glitches! So, shove off and go back to your dull, generic, lifeless, but perfectly executed Mario games. Anyway, Wii U game is a lot like Sonic Adventure. Much more open, platformy, even as the random gameplay changes. So, cool. But yeah, much more battling. Anyway, outside of flinging enemies away with your whip, combat is boring. Besides the exception of Ratchet & Clank and maybe Mega Man, combat shouldn't be the focus of platformers. It ruined Rayman 3 for me too. Oh well, I suppose combat is the cheapest way to lengthen a game. Anyway, Sonic Boom Wii U's gameplay is fine, just boring. No charm or spectacle, it just does things. Sonic Adventure, but without the soul. And the 3DS game. I hate labyrinth games! Barely being able to backtrack doesn't help either. A 3DS game is fascinating, since that it's a compilation of several obscure gameplay elements of old Sonic games. A little bit of Sonic Rivals, the bonus stages from Geodix, Tails Submarine from the Game Gear games, but they forgot this awesome theme song. And the main stages seem to be the mission structure of Shadows games in Sonic Advance 3 level design, with Sonic 3D Blast's awkward unplayable automated speed section between the puzzle levels to give the fake illusion that the game is actually fast. Surprised there isn't a fishing minigame so you can complete the obscure Sonic gameplay durations bingo game. Not to say I hate all of those elements, just the labyrinth stuff. Anyway, yeah, I probably don't have to bring up the story.
You know what a Sonic story is? That
Hi, I'm Dr. Adrian. Still looking bad. Yep, Sonic Boom still looking bad for me.
What the hell is that?
Okay, so Sonic Boom is a big deal, right? New franchise, big new merchandise emporium for Sega, and then they make it a Nintendo exclusive. I thought they want to reach new audience. Look, I'm a PC gamer, and I would like to support Sonic Boom. Well, until I see it in the reviews. But whatever, yet I gotta buy a new system? No, these games are supposed to reach a wider new audience. Sega's trying to convince us that this new spin-off series is worth something to buy.
There's rumors the Wii U exclusive deal was done very late in production of Sonic.
But if we, the Sonic audience and fans, have to put in such a great effort and money just to go with it, well, that's just terrible business planning. They should have the last Nintendo exclusive game to be some kind of other low-key Sonic 4 kind of game, because that's the only thing the Nintendo crowd is looking for anyway, while making a big new audience-learning spin-off masterpiece a great spectacle over all systems.
Well, they didn't target the game to us Sonic fans to begin with.
I was interested in the fact that the Wii U game pairs up the Sonic characters in different groups every now and then. But they don't seem to do that much with it, do they? This is a perfect opportunity to finally explore the relationship with one another in depth. What does Knuckles think of Tails? What Amy's thought on Tails? But we still just get nothing.
I wouldn't say that. The Wii U game does show us the rich and complex relationship each character has with bounce pads.
Alright, so the Wii U game is a prequel to the TV show, but what exactly does it set up? What does it introduce to help the show? Lyric? Will he ever appear on the show? Why Stick is their friend? No? How and if Sonic and friends of the show are the same or comparable to the old series or entirely new? No? Oh wait, it does set up things. This game explains how Eggman got this robot control remote device.
Exactly! Who cares about the characters? I wanted the game to explain how a super genius who builds fast robot armies and entire air fleets in a couple weeks' time could possibly get his hands on a remote control for his own armies. Thanks, game.
I would have liked to play a Sonic game with fun, colorful, interesting animal characters with distinct separate personalities and an epic sci-fi fantasy adventure where they face a friendly and cool antagonist within a well-paced plot with strong, different emotional beats, some funny, some sad, some gloriously triumphant, or I can just go play Freedom Planet right now.
Yeah, go do that. Don't mind us being unconscious on the hospital floor.
bloody kids.
Anyway, I recently read an interesting article on the net, The Spin, that had some interesting theories and research on Sonic Boom's history. I recommend people to read it. There's some strong hints that a TV show and a Wii U game were never meant to be about the same Sonic Boom universe, but each their own individual thing, only awkwardly merged together in a later stadium, with the 3DS game as an awkward attempt to be a better bridge between the game and the TV show. By retconning the Wii U game, that doesn't help much. Anyway, another thing.
Greetings, friends! Guys? Roger? British Tales? Hello? Oh well. So, anyway. Last time I drew comparisons to Sonic Boom and Marvel's Ultimate Universe, but now that we know a little bit more about it, I'd like to expand upon that. In the Ultimate Universe, characters that we've known for decades still got origin stories, even if they were similar or even the same as before. In Sonic Boom, however, we got nothing. Styx just shows up and we're expected to go along with it. We have these alternate universe versions of characters with sometimes drastically different personalities. For example, I don't quite understand Amy in this series.
Yeah, both you and me, brother. But we already covered this. Move on to the next topic, please. Captain Theory. They can't hear us, can they?
That threw me off. Sonic Boom works somewhat like a Looney Tunes short, and it can be very funny like that. But there's something missing. Motivation. This is a core element of a cartoon character. Their drive, their desires. For a funny cartoon character, you need some sort of reward/punishment system. Wile E. Coyote is desperately hungry, and that drives his actions. It creates comedy, and even a little emotional attachment from the audience. His desire for his reward, food, and the punishment he faces if he fails, starvation. Think about it. The stronger and popular Sonic characters usually have a strong goal they want to achieve. Eggman with world domination, Shadow with his search for identity. Their desires create a hook toward them. I would like to bring up one of the other well-known Looney Tunes sketches, Sam and Ralph. Sam is a sheepdog who protects a flock of sheep, and Ralph is a wolf who tries to steal the sheep. However, this is nothing more than their jobs. They have nothing against each other and are even seen getting along quite well and even caring for each other. Ralph also has no reason to want to steal the sheep. It is just his job description. He has a home and food, so stealing the sheep serves him no purpose. And that's the humor of the series, and what has made them the cartoon icons they are today.
Okay, I rarely see those on TV. Yeah, detachments can be funny, I guess. I'm guilty of it with this series. And nevertheless, Sam and Raph are at least based on strong characters. They are deconstructions of typical cartoon predators and guardians. They have a defined personality type that they then deconstruct. While Sonic and Friends and Sonic Boom are just whatever funny accent the actors feel like doing randomly that day. Knuckles doesn't work as a dumb muscle because he's never a muscle. Eggman doesn't work as a petty villain because he's too easily and too often best buddies with Sonic and Friends. Sticks doesn't work because he can't be crazy and paranoid when normal society is already portrayed as weird and crazy. Not to mention Sticks is usually correct in her weird predictions anyway. Amy doesn't work because no one has a grip on who she is. And the rest of the cast is just bored and aren't heroic nor anti-heroic enough to work as a foil, deconstruction, parody, or anything at all other than someone that just looks bored and commentates on what's going on. Sonic Boom has very interesting ideas and funny situations, but the characters are too vague and random to steer the jokes. I enjoy the show for its ideas and energy, but the lack of clear identity for anyone stops it from ever being better than just amusing.
Real comedy or dramatic stakes, and therefore everything feels a bit, well, mundane. Silly situations are just there to get a passive one-liner thrown at it, not to be dealt with any kind of dramatic or comedic energy.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Nobody is desperate to get anything done, or emotionally crushed when they fail, or in heaven when they succeed. There are no stakes, just amusing silliness. And I'm kind of okay with that. But it needs work.
You know what a Sonic story is that I do like a lot, but we barely talked about on this show yet? Sonic and the Black Knight, or as I like to call it, the Sonic version of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.